All right, we are going to go over the answers to the review. And if you haven't done the review yet, you need to stop watching this video and do it for yourself first, because you're just going to grade yourself and see where you messed up so that you're ready for your test tomorrow. So the answers, so if you haven't done it yet, do it now. The answers for the test or for the review are as follows. So go ahead and pause the video and grade yourself. And then after you're done grading, you can play the video and I'll work out every problem. So the problems that you missed, you need to listen to those problems in particular so that you know what you've done wrong. Okay, for this entire test, we're going to be using the triangle and probably our multiplication chart. So I'm going to look at the numbers first. 6 times 4 is 24. So I know my answer is going to be some version of 24. The question is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative? So I have two negatives, so I cover up both of my negatives and my answer is positive. So it will be a positive 24, which is D. Number 2 is negative 6 times 3. Well, 6 times 3 is 18, but I have one of each, so I'm going to cover up the positive and the negative, and my answer will be negative 18. Number 3 says 3 times 5. Both of them are positive, so I don't really have to think about this one. My answer will be positive, and 3 times 5 is 15. That one isn't bad. Number 4 says negative 4 times negative 4. Well, a negative times a negative is going to be a positive because I cover up both of the negatives, and my answer is positive. So I know my answer is going to be positive. And then 4 times 4 is 16. So it's positive 16, so that should be C. Number 5 says 6 times negative 5. Well, that's a positive and a negative, so I'm going to redraw my triangle. A positive and a negative, I cover them up, and my answer will be negative. And then 6 times 5 is 30. So my answer has to be negative 30. Number 6 says negative 6 times 2. Well, a negative times a positive, I cover those up, and my answer will be negative. And then 6 times 2 is 12. So my answer is negative 12. All right. Number 7, it says 5 times 4. Well, these are both positive, so I have to get a positive answer. So it's going to be positive something. 5 times 4 is 20, so it's positive 20. Number 8 says 6 times negative 6. So I'm going to redraw my triangle. A positive times a negative is going to give me a negative answer. And 6 times 6 is 36. So my answer is negative 36. All right, number 9 says 3 times 6. Well, 3 times 6 is 18. But a negative times a positive is going to give me a negative. So it's going to be a negative 18. Number 10, a negative times a negative. If I cover both of those up, I'm going to be left with a positive. So I will have a positive answer. And then 5 times 2 is 10. It's ironic that number 10 is number 10. All right, number 11, we got negative 12 divided by positive 2. Well, 12 divided by 2 is 6. But a negative and a positive, when you're multiplying and dividing, will always give you a negative. So it's a negative 6. We have 16 divided by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Is it a positive 4 or a negative 4? Well, if we have two negatives, we cover those up, and we're going to be left with a positive. So the answer is positive 4. Number 13, negative 9 divided by negative 3. That's going to give us a 3, and the two negatives, they will be, cancel out, and then you'll get a positive 3. Okay, number 14, negative 56 divided by negative 7. The answer will be 8. 56 divided by 7 is 8. And then the two negatives, if I look at like the triangle, I'm going to cover those up and my answer will be positive. So I'll get a positive 8. Number 15 says 5 divided by negative 1. Anything divided by 1 is going to give yourself back. So it's going to be 5. But is it positive 5 or negative 5? So looking at the triangle, I have a positive and a negative, so I'm going to cover those up, and I get a negative 5. All right, we got 48 divided by negative 8. And 48 divided by 8 is 6. And I have a positive and a negative, so I'm going to cover those up, and I've got a negative 6. All right, almost done. 4 more left. 21 divided by 7 is 3. And then I got a negative 21 and a positive 7. So I'm going to redraw my triangle. I have a negative 21 and a positive 3. So I'm going to get, a negative 21 and a positive 7. So I'm going to get a negative 3 as my answer, which is C. All right, number 18. I got a negative 6 and a negative 3. Well, 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then the two negatives will cancel each other out, and you'll get positive 2, which is A. I got 15 divided by 5, which is 3. And the negative 15 and the positive 5, if I look at the triangle, negative 15, positive 5, I'm going to get a negative 3. And then 14 divided by 2 is 7. And I have a positive 14 and a negative 2, so I'm going to get a negative 7, which is C. So look back over them. I went through those fairly quickly. If you are still confused, please raise your hand and I'll go through them more slowly and answer any questions that you have.